the room.
Hi.
Can you hear me, ma'am?
It's patchy here. It seems like it's raining or something on your side.
Okay. Thank you so much, Carol. I see it's recording. I think I may start. I just want to check if you can hear me.
Okay, is it raining that side? Because I'm hearing the noises.
Hi, Carol.
Hi.
Aha, now I can hear you. Thank you so much. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. But is it raining on your side?
Yes, it is. Is it noisy?
Yes.
Oh, maybe I must find another place, but it's fine. I'm going to move and find a better place. I see it's recording. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. I'm
Is,
leaving.
is it like terrible?
As long as you can be loud, it's fine.
Oh, okay, okay. I'll try.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Okay, I think this spot is much better. Sorry for that. We had some noise background, but I think we are ready to start. And apologies again for the earlier glitches last week when when our audio could not go through. Our session was interrupted. Thank you very much for coming back, and I hope you can see my screen, and then we can start. Just one more minute. Let me get my screen sorted, and then we can go. There you go. Right. Thank you for this session again. Last week or the week that after or the week before in our first session, we deliberated a big deal upon the introduction to this module, and we looked at learning unit 1 in detail to check just what the module is about, and we also looked at a lot of discussions that about the introduction of the module, we saw that it's very much important for an organization to have a clear background in terms of knowing what the organization is surrounded with. We saw that there are internal aspects of the business that the business needs to know about, the external, the macro. We were made to understand just how important our day-to-day running of the business is, because it affects a lot of people, and there are surroundings that actually can make our decisions difficult. So we need to ensure that we have our stakeholders in mind when we make decisions, and we need to actually understand who we are as a business. We looked at that, and then we also looked at the business activities, which is the planning, the organizing, the leading, and the control. It was very important for us to start at that background, because learning unit number 2 is going to pick up exactly there. So whatever the foundation that we laid then, is what we need now in this learning unit. Okay, so this learning unit is broken down into two themes. Theme number 1 says management theories, and theme number 2 is about the modern management approaches. Now, we're going to unpack what it is that we are looking at when we're looking at the management theories. What is a management theory, and why do we need it? Why do we know that there's a theory before we can jump into the ship and start navigating our management path? There is some importance in that. We're going to look at that, but we're going to start with LO1, that says the need for management. Why do we need management? Why is there a need for an organization to have people in the leadership positions, people who are up there to ensure that things are happening? And we're also going to look at the classical approach to management. What has been happening in the management cycle, and does one apply any approach that they like when they are managing their organizations, or what are the things that they look at, the factors that affects what you look at as a manager, to ensure that whichever management principles and guidelines that you follow are in line with the goals that the organization is trying to achieve. We're going to look at that. We're also going to look at various quantitative theories. What are quantitative theories, and what are they helping us with? How do we quantify our decisions? I'm sure at some level in your organizations, for those who are working, there may have been some discussions about a manager trying to introduce or put in something into your management, and they say, give us a business argument, meaning prove the point, prove to us that there's a quantitative argument in what you're trying to do, so that we can actually put a budget for it. So quantitative theories are going to teach us how do we go about ensuring that we can actually get to a point where we can put numbers together in an effort to get the decisions approved, the funds available, anything of that sort. So we need those kind of approaches, and they are called quantitative theories and approaches and philosophies. And we're also going to look at the use of the quantitative techniques in management. How do we actually apply them in practice? Now, under theme number 2, we're going to look at just one called L1 that says the major concepts of the system and contingency theories. So we're going to say, just as we are on with our strategic approaches and implementations, what else can come into play to enhance our approach to whatever we are trying to achieve? What can come in to help us in achieving what we are achieving? I think that is what this theme is talking about. When you are already on your way, trying to reach a certain goal, and you find better ways of actually accelerating the process and the progress of reaching that goal. This is what we're going to cover under theme number 2. Okay, so let's get on with it. Now, theme number 1 says management theories, and according to our book by Lazenby, the edition we are using for this module, management theories explain that the question of how how do we do things, and it answers the question of how did we get here? How did management improve along the years? How did management move from stage 1 to stage 2, and how did we get to knowing what we know now about management? There was an involvement. So something was started earlier in the years, and then it came up, and then it came up. Who started, and how did the improvement of management actually accelerates to this point? We're going to learn about that. Now, the description also says, how does management think, or the thinking get to evolve in order to improve the effectiveness in the organization? Remember, we have the organization that anyone else can have, and our organization can look similar to any other organization around. But the question is, how do we make our organization effective so that at the end of the day we can have our customers who are motivated to come back and buy from us? So we need effectiveness in our organization so that we don't do exactly as what our competitors are doing. And how about the decision making? How do we get to make decisions? They say we don't shoot from the hip. We need to make decisions that are based on the data that is important to us, and the data that is valuable and timely and is in line with what we are trying to do. So our decisions are very important because our decisions are going to determine our success. So management theories help us to base our decisions on something. Our decisions have to be all based on something, and the theories are giving us exactly that kind of the guideline, and that is what theme number 1 is introducing to us. But let's go into details into what these topics are about. Learning outcome number 1 says the need for management. Now, you can think from what we covered the other time regarding the leadership, the progresses, the leadership in management, and the way in which we want to achieve our our goals, and we want to reach our goals, we want to achieve our goals, we want to be in a better position to be competitively advantageous. Now, in order for us to do that, we need leadership who are going to determine for us, okay, this is where we are trying to go, this is how we are trying to get there, and this is us now taking you there. This is how you need to approach the way in which you do your tasks inside of the organization. That is why we do need like management to come into effect and to enable us to go there. They say we need management so that the resources that we have as an organization are coordinated properly. We need management that is going to allow us to know the importance of what we have and how to utilize what we have, and that there's accountability and there's a responsibility in us managing our resources as a business. So that is what um, management is needed for, part of which is to say these are the resources that we have, and here is a pattern in which the resources must be used, because here is a list of the importance of what our resources can accomplish to us if we use them and we use them well. So coordination of resources is very important, in our management are taking a leadership role in ensuring that the resources are there, they are functioning, and they have people who can actually make them function even better, who can actually ensure that we have our return of investment from the resources that we would have purchased earlier and the resources that we already have. That is the importance. Achievement of organizational goals. Remember, an organization is like a team that is pulling to the same direction, a team that have goals that we need to achieve. Otherwise, we cannot just function. We cannot just be a business that is functioning without a target to reach. So we have goals, we set up the goals. Now we need to achieve those goals. Now management is there to help us to actually get to achieve those goals. And taking us a little bit back from what we discussed earlier in our conversation, the activities, the planning of the organization. What do we want to do? What do we have? We need to jot them down. We need to have them on black and white to ensure that we know what it is that the organization is trying to do. And we have the customer that is waiting for our product, that is waiting for our service. Now we have to have a plan to ensure that we are consistent in satisfying the needs of those customers. Then the organizing as well, leading and control, just exactly as we have discussed in our first session. And the textbook description goes further to say management is essential in organizations in order for people to be coordinated. People can't just get into the office and start thinking of what to do. They have to have a they have to have a coordinated pattern and path to which they follow. So they need to be a roadmap. That roadmap comes from the coordination of management to say this one is doing this and this one, and these are our KPIs. This is what we are expecting to get out of the tasks that people are doing. And then the finances as well. Who's managing our finances? How many credit customers do we have? How many cash customers do we have? How many cash on deliveries do we have? So we need to know how our rent is being spent. We need to know each step that we take to ensure that we secure our finances. We know how many people we have, how much do we pay them, what salary goes to who, what skills are being paid for, what skills are being sourced. We need to have an idea of all that. And our money, we are here to make profit, and the profit is made by achieving the day-to-day successes and making our customers happy so that they can pay for the service that we provide and the product that we give to them, and they are happy to come back and buy from us again. Then we're going to have profit, but that profit comes in through a system of finance. So our financial management has to be perfectly balanced to ensure that we can actually manage our finance correctly. Information and technology, no, nothing moves without information. No one is going to achieve anything if we don't have information, especially in supply chain. Supply chain moves because there's information that is moving around. We have the logistics, which is the management of information, the information of how many customers do we have, how many customers place the orders for next week, what is our demand, what is our forecast for next week, who needs to know, transportation manager, do you have the capacity for us, warehouse, do you have the stock, procurement team, are you ready to procure in order for us to meet this demand? So that information is very important in terms of us knowing what needs to move and move where. If you see a truck on the road, that truck doesn't just get on the road and you know what, we will just hope that we can get to our customers and come back. No, there's a coordinated effort. We have to plan, we have to make information available in time so that everyone knows that there's going to be a truck on the road and these are the customers we're going to try to reach. This is the load that we're going to try to deliver in these capacities, in these quantities, so that at least we know we have our plan. And what are the technologies that we can use? We need to learn a lot about technologies, even in other modules, especially in transportation, the whole of logistics. We use a lot of technological items in order for us to achieve things. We don't want to go to be on a manual basis because we're going to stay behind. And this was brought about by Amazon. Amazon brought something called the Amazon effect that made the customers and the clients to say, hey, listen, actually in supply chain we can make your lives better. And this is the Amazon effect that we're going to introduce to you. We can make your life better by giving you the best service that you can think of. And that means that we have to have the best available technology in our supply chain to ensure that we know exactly what is happening, especially in our warehouses, stock that we are managing, the trucks that are on the road for us, the customers that we have, the money that exchanges, and we need to have technology that speaks to all of that. So management is important in order for us to achieve that, because management will sit and they will make plans to ensure that our stakeholders get the service that they deserve. Management also ensures that activities are planned and organized properly, while leaders guide employees and control processes to achieve efficiency and effectiveness. In the business of today, if you cannot achieve efficiency and you cannot achieve effectiveness, you are doomed, because your competitor will just penetrate on that, will just come in and steal all your customers, and your customers will be willing to move because the competitor will be giving them exactly what they need, plus plus some added value on top of it. So it's very much important for our leaders and managers to ensure that they guide us, and they guide us well in order for us to achieve all these effectiveness and efficiencies to ensure that our customer is motivated to come back and buy from us. That is exactly what the management is important to us about, in terms of them being available for us. Okay, that was what learning outcome number one and learning outcome number two was introducing to us, to see the need for management and to see the importance of management, and to also look at the activities that management is expected of helping us with. Okay. Now we can jump on to learning unit number three, which says, let's now separate the kind of theories that we have as organizations. Are we going to use one theory and hope we achieve all the different aspects of our business? Are we just going to pick and choose the theory that we think makes sense to us and go for it? We need to have a balance of understanding in terms of what we are trying to achieve, and then we're going to find a theory that is suitable for us in achieving what we are trying to achieve. Okay. Now, we have different kind of theories, and we're going to look at them in terms of understanding which theory is best suitable for which management style or for which organizational strategy or for which path that we're trying to take as an organization. Okay, firstly, we have these three types of theories. They are called behavioral theories. Oh, okay. Actually, we can start here. I think we went on to learning unit number 2. We can start with the classical approach to management, under which we're going to look at what what management approaches can we look at before we look at the other theories that are there, because us understanding the type of management that we are will lead us into making sure that we choose the perfect theory that we can follow. So it's very important for us to start here at the theories instead of here looking at the actual different types of theories. Okay. Now, classical approach to management. What are we looking at when we say we have an approach to management and our approach is the classical one? The classical approach to management is say it emphasizes productivity, to say we are a business, we are making profit, we need to produce what is going to give us profit. So we need to have a structure in our organization that is going to improve productivity. So that is a classical approach, to say, let us give the customer what we have promised to give them. So we need to give our customer what we have promised to give to them. So let us follow a concept that is going to allow us to produce what is needed for our customer to be happy. Now, that is a classical approach. So they say, under the classical approach, we have some types of managements that we can look at. The first one being scientific management. We also have administrative management, bureaucratic management, and all these focus on efficiency and structure. I want you to understand this well, because when we're going to look at the other types of theories or approaches to management, then you're going to see the difference. These theories focus on what is the output. This is the input, this is the output, this is how it was converted, that's it. So we put 100 million into the business, and we're going to use that 100 million as our inputs to ensure that we have the resources, we have the people, we have the capacities to produce for a certain demand. Later on, we're going to say, this is the production, this is the demand, we've met the demand, and this is the return of investment. That's what we want to see. We gave you these resources, we gave you this all these inputs put together to ensure that there's return after this. Where is the return? The return has to be shown. So the scientific, the administrative, and the bureaucratic deals with that. They ensure that there is alignment in what the business is expecting, the shareholders are expecting from us. How? They say the classical approach emphasizes improving productivity and organizational structure. There has to be the structure that we follow, and within that structure, we need to be productive. If we need to produce 100 units of a product in 1 week, let that be. If it's in 1 day, let that be. We bring the people in, we buy the machines, we buy the resources, we put technologies together, the information is flowing correctly. Now there has to be that production. That is what the classic approach speaks to. The scientific management, they say it focuses on the methods of work. Uh, who is doing what and how is that being done? If we are a transport company, we are saying who's driving our trucks? Um, which routes are we using to deliver to our customers? How do we determine them? How do we determine our economic routes? How do we ensure that we hire the drivers that are qualified for the type of the type of the vehicles that we have? How do we use our diesel? Do we buy in bulk? Do we buy a tank and then buy in bulk, or do we go and fill up at the filling station? Do we deliver at night? Do we deliver during the day? And how is the payment method going to happen? Is it coming to us on a monthly? Is it coming on cash on delivery? The work has to be methodological. It has to follow a certain sequence and a certain pattern, and that is what scientific management is doing. Okay? Administrative management says here are the managerial functions that we have as the business, as an organization, and here are the principles that guides those functions. We have the human resource function, we have the logistics function, we have the finance function, we have the production or operations function, the warehouse and the transportation. How do we mingle them together? How do we get them to work towards the same goal? What is the language that is going to connect us together as an organization using these functions? That is what administrative management speaks about, is to say you are a manager in logistics, these are your responsibilities, and this is how we expect you to get on with your responsibilities. And these are your KPIs or your KPAs that we are expecting from you. That is the administrative management, just like in academic. In academic, you have two ways, you have two paths. You can either be an academic administrator, meaning you can work in operations, work with student marks, you can be in the student wellness, you can be in the library, you can be the campus head. So you are administratively focused. You are focused on how things are done and what are the principles that are guiding how things are done in academic. Or you can be an academic that is in the class, just like you can be the lecturer, you can be the senior lecturer, you can be the professor, you can stick to the class, you can deal only with the management of how lessons are being delivered to students, how the curriculum works, what is covered into our syllabus and what is not. So those are the two. So the administrative part is the part that deals with the admin of it, the supportive, or the secondary activities that must happen if we can use our academic example. Okay, now the bureaucracy, they say, this one deals with rules now. What are the rules? We have a truck that returned with the product back to our depot. Why did the truck come back with the product? The customer returned the product. Why did the customer return the product? We delivered a day early. Why did we deliver a day early? We felt that because the driver for the truck was having his license expiring, so we had to deliver before that happens. Why didn't we anticipate on time that the driver's license is going to expire? So those are the things that we need to know about. Now, bureaucracy says there are rules that we need to follow. There are rules that we need to follow, because if we don't follow the rules, then we're going to have things like this: customer returning product to us and then we are losing. We need to know each and every driver, when are they renewing their license, when are they going on leave, when are they going on training, when are they going on, and who's taking over when that happens. How is the process of maneuvering that? How are we ensuring that the trucks are still on the road, even though we have drivers who are either on leave or who are renewing their licenses, or they are doing other things, even on sick leave. So bureaucracy still deals with that. There have to be rules that we follow, because without rules, everyone is just going to think to do what they think is best for them at that moment, and that is going to collapse our systems. The bureaucracy deals also with the hierarchy, the formal authority, who's managing who, and who is reporting to who. How many reportees are reporting to a single manager? How many managers do we have? How many people are they managing? How many activities are they managing? How many functions are they managing? In academic, we call them faculties. How many faculties are they managing? So those comes from the bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is teaching us how to follow that hierarchy of knowing who's reporting to who, and what is the escalation process, the formal authority escalation process. How do we get to where, when things are either happening or they are not happening? So those are the three which I wanted us to start with before we come to this one. So now we know the tasks, we know the hierarchies, we know the level of managers, we know how many they are, we know how many people are supposed to, we even know the rules, we even know the tasks that we need to do and how to do them. But then learning unit, learning outcome number 3 takes it a step further than that. It says, although we know the tasks and we know the responsibilities, we know what we need to achieve, we know the goals, and we know that everyone has to be hands on deck for all the activities that we're doing, we still need to understand that behind every task, behind every job title, behind every level of management, there's a human being. So there's someone who has feelings, who have to be nurtured in somehow, who have to be guided, who have to be trained, who have to be taught how things are done. And behavioral theories are saying, let us understand a person, as a human being, before we can just take them and put them into work. We need to understand them. We need to talk to them. We need to make them aware of things they are not aware of. We need to teach them what we need to teach them. So it's very important for us as an organization to have a heart that goes into the human factor. And under this, we have different theories that speaks to that. We have a human relations a focus theory, we have the motivation and leadership theory, and we also have the communication and the teamwork. So these are the theories that speaks to the people who are going to achieve the tasks for us. Remember, there under the classical approach, we're saying we're focusing on the task. This is what we are investing. This is what we are expecting to get back from our investment. So that ROI comes from the people that are going to get into the tasks, get into the ship and implement the plans that management would have done for us earlier. So these are the theories that we base our understanding of how to manage people from. Behavioral theories recognize employees as social beings. These are the people that have families, they have children, they are the sons of people, they are the daughters, they are the fathers, and the mothers. So these are the people that we need to put close to us and understand, and the organization cannot run if our people are not fully functioning in terms of them as human beings. They need to be understood and they need to be shown the road and the ropes of how to achieve our organizational and strategic goals in our organization. Behavioral theories deals with that. The behavioral theories, they say they stress motivation. How do we get people to outperform to help us outperform our competitors, to go over and above the, 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 their roles to ensure that the organization is successful, the organization is top class. Imagine, for example, if we have a customer that has been struggling with finances and is our big customer, but they're just going through a bad patch, and now all of a sudden their troubles are resolved and they have their finances sorted, and now they need the delivery to come first thing in the morning for that big bulk delivery, and it's 4 o'clock already. The logistics and customer service manager walks into finance and say, hey, listen, the customer is making the transaction, please remove them from credit hold. We want the transportation manager to load the product tonight so that in the morning the truck can go. And finance people are saying, no ways, we are not releasing, we want to see the money has to be in the bank, and sorry, it's 4 o'clock now, I have to leave, and the person leaves. So if you look at that, 3 hours later the money reflects in the bank, but there's no one to release them the the account hold, and the transportation manager cannot load the vehicle because the account is still on hold, and then the loading processes cannot be done, cannot be released, and then the customer is going to have to wait again tomorrow by 8 o'clock when the financial team is back and they can release. Then we can load all the trucks are gone by then. We have to wait for them to come back, and the customer will only get their delivery the other day. Can you see now that there's an issue with how we motivate our people? So motivated people will be able to understand that, hey, you know what, the customer is important here. It's 4 o'clock, I already have my bags up, I'm going to unpack and take out my laptop to release that customer from credit hold, because the customer has already made the payment. It will reflect midnight, but in the morning the truck will get on the road and we deliver the customer and everyone is happy. Excuse me. So we need motivation. So the behavioral theories deals with that, deals with the hearts of the people, gets into the emotions of people, teaches them how to be motivated, and how to have an understanding of where the business is trying to get. The leadership style, who's leading us, who's there on top, where are they leading us to, how are they leading us into getting those goals met and those target reached. We need leadership styles that are suitable for our organization and the type of human beings that we have in our business, and the type of customers that we have. So we need leadership that understands all that, understands our stakeholders, and ensures that we are being led in a way that is in line with what we are trying to achieve and what we are expected to achieve. And effective communication and teamwork. Who needs to provide the information when, and how is the information being effected around the organization. For example, in logistics and supply chain, we have a system such as EDI. EDI is a center of information that transfers. It's like a heart that pumps out in and out blood to ensure that the whole body gets sufficient blood. Now communication is very important, because when it comes in on time, when it's relevant, when it's effective, our decisions are going to be based on it, and our decisions are going to be helpful for us to make good decisions, because without information, nothing moves. So if information has to be timely, has to be effective, in order for us to make decisions that are based on the real data, on the real occurrences and the real happenings that are happening today. Otherwise, we're going to struggle with customers returning products, because we didn't communicate to them earlier that the prices have increased, or that our volumes have upped and we want to give them more, or those kind of informations have to reach the relevant people on time, showing that organizational performance improves when when managers consider human needs and relationships. I've had one director one day at the business where I used to work, when we were facing difficulties, and then we were facing some retrenchment, and then he said, "You can retrench everyone." And then he pointed at someone in our department and say, "But not this one." Why? Because in his declaration, or in his explanation, he says, "In my team, I want people with the correct attitudes, um, the correct behaviors, the correct mentality, the correct approaches, because these are the people I'm going to need to get my company up again." So they need, yes, they do need skills. Yes, they do need a lot of tasks being achieved, but they also need people with the correct mentality to help them get up again. So it's that is needed. It's the teamwork that is needed. Is knowing who's on your side when you are an organization, and who's doing even other things that are not easily noticeable, but they're doing them in the background to ensure that there's no stoppage in supply chain. There's no disruption in the way that the product flows, and it has to flow. Okay. Now, that was what we needed to cover under learning unit number 2, learning outcome number 1, number 2, and number 3. Okay, the need for management and the theories, the two different categories of theories, the theories that deals with mental or behavioral issues, and the theories that deals directly with tasks and what is needed out of um, out of the tasks that we are doing in order for us to reach the targets that we have set ourselves as an organization. Okay, I hope so far we are still moving together, and I hope that I'm going to get questions if there are, and then we can also start with ironing out a few of the confusions later in our next online session, just to ensure that we are on the same page, we are on par with what is expected of us to understand at this stage of our module success. We need to be successful in this module, so we need to work together at the same page. Okay, learning outcome number 4 says there are theories that deals with numbers. The theories that we dealt with now were theoretical theories, like they were theories that are based on what we can write about, what we can remember, and what we can justify in terms of theory, the theoretical aspect, what we can explain as a business. Now we are saying, what about the quantitative ways in which we can make our decisions? Under this, we have management science, we have operations research, we have statistical models, and these are dealing with the analysis of us making decisions. They call them analytical decision making based on proof that we can justify in numbers, decision making that we can have based on show me the numbers that we are talking about. Make a business argument. So when you're making a business argument, you need to make a business argument based on exactly what the numbers are telling us. So they say numbers don't lie. So quantitative theories are basing the arguments on the numbers. We're saying, hey, for example, we're going to look at projections. We're trying to make projections for next month, which is March. Then we are saying, what were the actual demand patterns for March last year? What improved, or what happened between last year and now, so we can know what we can go into this year. So we're going to look at the numbers. If the numbers were saying 10 tons in March 2025, then we may look at maybe 15 or 17 tons in March 2026, but we already know that the 10 tons we already have, because customers are still there, they are still our customers, they didn't mention of any change from their side. So we have numbers. We have the number, then we can make a business decision. In our warehouse, a warehouse manager comes in and say, hey, listen, I need 2 more people to add to my staff. Then we are saying, show us the numbers. Why do we need 2 people? Okay, I need 2 people because the people that are here are producing this amount or this much capacity. Now I need to increase because I have 2 more customers and the demand has improved. Then we say, let's look at the numbers. Then the numbers are going to tell us exactly what the manager is telling us. Therefore, we have a business argument, and then we can hire 2 more people to achieve the demands. They say quantitative theories apply mathematical, analytical tools to solve problems, to ensure that problems are managed and they are managed properly. And they are very much different from the earlier approaches, because the earlier approaches were dealing with theoretical aspect. This one deals with numerical modeling and optimization to support objective decision making. We can make decisions based on the true numbers, the numbers that we can touch and we can see. Therefore, that is very important for us to understand as well. But then learning outcome number 5 says, in practice, quantitative techniques in management work in different ways. They say managers use these quantitative techniques to solve complex problems, to ensure that when we say this is the problem and this is where it started and this is how to solve it, we have accurate data, we have numbers that we can apply, we can use techniques that are going to work for us to predict what the outcome may be, and to actually apply these techniques to ensure that our problem solving is good enough to ensure that we don't face those problems in the longer term. These tools, they say, they help with predicting the trends. Because we had these numbers earlier, we can predict that we will have these numbers going forward. In order for us to allocate resources, how many people do we need to hire next year? Do we need to add 1 more machine? Do we need to buy 1 more forklift? Do we need to add 2 more trucks into our fleet? This is going to be predicted by the quantitative techniques that we apply, and they also help us in analyzing the risk. Hey, listen, last year this time we had a customer that pulled off because we supplied late. What happened in the, we thought we had the stock in the warehouse and we didn't, so our numbers were not talking, and the customer was furious, the customer left. So we need to analyze the risks that we can anticipate based on the numbers that we already know, the historical numbers that we already had. Okay, and they also help with predicting the trends. How are our customers going to behave this time? How are we going to achieve one or two things that we may not have achieved last year, or last year we achieved this much, and how do we ensure that we do that again? And the allocation of resources, analyzing the risk, improving scheduling and managing inventory, for example. The efficiency in our inventory has to be managed in a way that we don't find ourselves not knowing what is in our inventory, what is out of stock, what needs to be purchased next, things like that. So we need to have an idea, but that idea has to come from the correct information, which is managed by the correct systems that is talking to the correct numbers. And under those, we have forecasting, we have linear programming, we have simulation, and we also have decision trees that enable us to make decisions based on the correct details, and we also have inventory and scheduling tools. So that sums up what theme number one speaks about, the theories that we needed to understand and know about. And I hope that in this week you will be able to go through them and understand them even properly before we carry on again next week on the 4th in our next session. But then we can wrap up our session with theme number two, which only has one learning outcome, which is learning outcome one of theme two, but is generally learning outcome number 6. After we went on to end with learning outcome number 5 under theme one. And theme two says systems and contingency theories. This system theory speaks to the views organizations or it views organizations as interconnected components. Interconnected components like supply chain, interconnected components that works together in terms of interacting with the environment. One of the basic characteristics of a good strategy in a business is the organization that appreciates the environment in which it operates in. So the system theory says, what are the interconnections that we have, the components that we need to connect together in our business in order for us to appreciate our environments, to interact with the environments in which we operate, the internal environments, external environments, all the environments that surround our business. They say contingency theory is built on this by arguing that there is no single best management method that you can apply as a business. You need to combine one or two methods that are going to help you as a business to achieve different or solve different problems. Effective management depends on the situation. So system theory says it depends on the situation in which we are in. For example, originally we have planned to buy 10 trucks and we're going to buy them 1 truck per month, but along the way we see that we actually can even add 1 or 2 buggies because we have customers that are small now, but they have a projection of growing in future. Therefore, we can actually include small pickup trucks in it. So that's the contingency. That's something that was not originally part of our plan, but it just came into our space. So under these, we have organizations as systems, we have interdependence of parts, we have environmental interactions, and we have situational management theory. But that is what film number 2 is speaking to us. It says, although you have plans and plans that are organized nicely, you can actually find other ways, other better ways of achieving what you are trying to achieve. And you can actually also remove some of the things that you have had in your original plan, because they are no longer aligned with what you are trying to achieve as a business. So this is what film number 2 is telling us, and I hope that you will have enough sufficient time to go through this, my beautiful people, to go and understand what learning unit number 2 is all about. And I can also say that your ICE activity number 1 is already up, is on arc. Please go and do it, and the closing date for that is the 3rd of March. Go in there and don't just quickly brush it aside. You need to actually go in and look at the ICE activity, and um, make it help you understand where you are so far in terms of understanding, especially learning unit number 1. And it will help you to think, what is it that you need to do as a contingency plan? What do you need to do in terms of making your learning better? Did I comprehend everything? Am I 80% there? What are the challenging aspects of my learning so far? What else do I need to do in terms of me trying to achieve what I'm trying to achieve in this module? And where do I need assistance? And do I need to up my pace? Do I need to consult other sources? Do I need to manage my time? It will help you. So I encourage all of you to go in and do it, and then um, come back if there's anything that you don't understand. Come back and ask. Let's have a discussion. I'm here for you. You're here for me. We're here for each other. Without each other, we won't be able to achieve what we are trying to achieve. Both of us. Our role is to provide you the best service ever, and ensure that when you leave Emery's University, you live with both the certificate and the knowledge that you're going to need to apply in the world out there, in order for you to be sure that you are ready-made, you are whole-hatched. In geography we say someone is whole-hatched. It means you have learned to a level that you can actually practice what you have learned, and the knowledge is yours. Thank you so much, my people, and once again, apologies for the earlier glitches which we had from last week. But I'm sure that this one is a clean recording, is a clean session, which you can hear properly. You can see the slides, and you will be able to work through your learning throughout this week in preparation for next week as well. All right, thank you so much. Until we meet again in the next session. Thank you, my people, and bye bye for now.